As the name suggests, this is the Jagdpanther, so that means it's a tank destroyer that's based on the Panther tank. Armor is more or less the same, 80mm upper front plate that's slope at 55 degrees. But the unfortunate thing is, you are a battle rating 6.3, so there's already a lot of guys that do not give a shit about your armor, unfortunately. Dude, what the? Oh, dear me, I'm dead. It's so sad. We can't get the Panther 2 anymore. You know, it's been removed from the tech tree, and I don't think it's coming back anytime soon. And even worse news, the people who have the Panther 2, yeah, it just got bumped up to 7.0. A higher better rating than the Tiger 2. But hey, what if I told you you can play this thing called the Jagdpanther? It's a better rating 6.3 and it's technically a Panther with the longer 88mm, right? Hey guys, it's Jim here, and welcome back to another episode, finally, of Heroes and Generals but it's War Thunder. Like, I really do apologize for taking so long just to finally get back to this vehicle. I was grinding for the event vehicle and whatnot, and of course, in case you didn't know, it literally took me 2 weeks just to finally get enough footage to make a video for this thing. And before you guys say anything, let me make a little bit of a disclaimer. I never really claimed to be a pro in this game. I mean, like, I understood armor, I understood firepower, I understood like the basics of flying, especially when I'm dealing with a specific type of plane. When I go up above battle rating 6.0, yeah, everything of my skills just gets thrown out the window. And no, it is not me destroying enemy tanks. I actually have no issues destroying enemy tanks, especially with something that has the same firepower as the Tiger 2H. No, my issue is not really destroying tanks, my issue is dealing with players who basically knew the map so much more than I do. They knew where to go, they knew where to position themselves, they know the one good spot where they can actually see enemy tanks pushing into the battle zone or whatever, and know exactly the range. And unfortunately, I'm not one of those players. Because firstly, I cannot memorize shit because I'm dyslexic as fuck. And secondly, if you haven't seen my T3476 video, I'm one of those guys who just plays this game with the brain function just snipped off. I just drive around like an idiot, like a total maniac, shooting everybody as I go. If I find a good spot to hunker down, I will use the spot to hunker down. So yeah, it's a real struggle for me to actually get good footage for this thing at battle rating 6.3 because most of the time I just get one kill, die instantly. I wasn't able to do anything after that, and blah blah blah, rinse and repeat. But thankfully though, I did manage to get quite a few good footages, and there we go. We have a video now that I can actually make about the Jagdpanther, and then move out of the line of tank destroyers. And of course, you know the drill, we're gonna break this down, and then talk about whether this is better than the one in Heroes and Generals or not. And first things first, armor. As the name suggests, this is the Jagdpanther, so that means it's a tank destroyer that's based on the Panther tank. So of course, armor is more or less the same, 80mm upper front plate that's slope at 55 degrees. Just like the Panther F, 80mm slope at 55 degrees. So yeah, Sherman 76, T-34-85, they're not getting through this anytime soon. But the unfortunate thing is, you are a battle rating 6.3, so there's already a lot of guys that do not give a shit about your armor, unfortunately. And I know some of you are probably gonna say, Jim, I've seen some other YouTubers play this thing and then they point out the weak spot on this thing. If I'm playing the Sherman 76 or the T-34-85, I can just shoot this, right? You could, but as you can see, Gaijin actually made it variable thickness. So that means you have to land it at the exact right spot in order to actually penetrate. To the point where I say, if you do manage to penetrate this thing and take out a Jagdpanther, I would then tell you, book a flight, go to Las Vegas. If you know, you know. But otherwise, it's quite a sketchy weak spot to hit now because if you don't land your shots right, you are looking at something as thick as 248mm of armor. As well as the little ball in the middle here, it's a very small window to hit. And again, if you don't hit it right, yeah, you're looking at 175mm of armor or whatever, or you hit a double layer. And then another weak spot to be careful of is this, only 50mm slow at 55 degrees. A lot of guns can definitely push right through this and knock out your transmission. And as we all know, a turretless armored vehicle with the mobility knocked out is more or less a death sentence. As well as the sights you need to keep in mind, especially when you try to angle in this thing. Like, sure, maybe 50mm right here, and then if you angle it right, they shoot this, it's gonna bounce. However, be very careful of this. And then moving on the mobility on this thing, you have 600 horsepower, lugging 46 tons, so going up to 46 kilometers an hour is really not a big deal, especially with a wide set of tracks. Just that unfortunately at battle rating 6.3 you are going to come across a lot of light tanks that can definitely go twice as fast as you or reach your speed twice as quickly. Another thing to keep in mind is do not play aggressively with this thing. I like how we give a lot of grievance to British tanks for not having reverse gear, but unfortunately the same cannot be said about the German tanks. And then moving on the firepower of this thing, this is the Pak 43 88mm cannon, which is more or less the same gun as the Tiger 2 P Tiger 2H. I know they have the KWK 43 instead, but in War Thunder they perform basically the same. So this is the shell that we'll be using, the armor piercing cap ballistic cap shell, that bends up to 237mm of armor, with 64 grams of explosive mass. Yeah, with this much penetration, of course, battle rating 6.3, battle rating 6.7, 7.0, 7.3, a lot of tanks actually don't have armor to actually resist this. Unless of course you get your max up tier and then you face something like a T-32 or a IS-3 or the Object 268 or whatever. But if you know where to shoot those vehicles, yeah, this shell doesn't really bounce that much. Now you do have access to APCR, I say, if you want to bring some, bring some. If you don't want to, then by all means don't. Because most of the time you'll be using this shell. Most of the tanks that you come across don't exactly have armor to resist this thing. And the tanks that you do come across that has armor against this thing, your APCR is not going to do it either. You know, IS-3s, those guys you can't really penetrate with your APCR anyway. And you do have a machine gun in the hole right here, but it's in a fixed position and you can only fire left and right, just like the main gun. So my advice, you might want to bring a few high explosive just in case. And then moving on, the other aspects of the gun, you can carry up to 49 rounds of ammunition. If you want to bring less, you can, because if you bring less, it's going to be right here on the left side of the gun. And what can happen is that with the right side completely empty, you can actually like position yourself in a way that a house covers like this side of your tank so that your driver and gunner are completely safe. And if they do manage to penetrate this, machine gunner, commander, loader, yeah, it's really not going to do much after that. Reloading rate on this thing is 7.9 seconds or 8 seconds, which is kind of long unfortunately. I mean, I am running Expert Crew on with maxed out leadership and weapon reloading, and the stock reload is about almost 10 seconds. If you're sniping in this thing, it's really not too terrible, and comparing with other tanks like the Pershing and whatnot, it's really not too bad. 8 seconds is more or less on par in some cases, but if you're playing this thing in close quarters or short range, yeah, you might want to be very careful about this. Vertical guidance, negative 8 gun depression, which is actually not bad for a SPG tank destroyer, as well as the gun profile is a little bit lower than the Panther, as you can see, so it does make up for a little bit lacking in gun depression. And finally, no gun stabilizer, but I didn't really seem to have too much trouble with it. I mean, there will be moments where it does bounce quite a fair bit, but that's not really a big deal, if I'll be honest. And so there you have it, this is the Jagdpanther G1. And how does this thing compare with the one in Heroes and Generals? Again, like the Panther G, there is no competition. Like, I really have no idea how this thing really performs after the whole broken angled armor mechanic that they implemented and didn't bother to fix. But before that, man, like, sure, maybe the firepower is actually there, but the armor is not so much, man. Like, if I can best this thing from the front in my A175 Sherman and a SU-76M, if I can best the Jagdpanther in those two vehicles, you know there's something wrong with the armor in Heroes and Generals. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about the Jagdpanther. Now let's take this thing on to battle, and wish me luck, guys. Sure. Don't push me out. Don't push me out.
Attention to the designated grid zone!
Wir sind einsatzbereit.
Thank you! Attention to the map! Panzergranate geladen! Panzergranate geladen!
Sorry, teammate. I was seeing because of the fucking push.
Ziel beschädigt. Ziel abgeschaltet.
I don't like this spot. Oh,
Wir wurden getroffen. Ziel zerstört.
Panzergranate geladen!
Wir wurden getroffen.
Panzergranate geladen!
Ziel zerstört.
how the hell did you mess that up so badly?
Attention to the designated grid square!
Ziel abgeschaltet.
I'm so sorry, buddy. I know that tech is not your cup of tea.
Panzergranate geladen! Attention to the map!
Yeah, screw you too, buddy.
Panzergranate geladen!
Wir wurden getroffen. Sicherheitswerte beschädigt. Ziel beschädigt.
Oh dear. Should have done this. Yeah, this ain't E5. I can't do anything to him.
Panzergranate geladen!
There you go.
Ziel abgeschaltet.
Panzergranate geladen!
Ziel zerstört.
Come on, David.
Panzergranate geladen! Enemy forces have captured the zone.
Panzer, 12 Uhr. Entfernung 350 Meter. Ziel getroffen! Ziel abgeschaltet!
Panzergranate geladen! Panzergranate geladen!
Ziel zerstört!
Oof. You mean didn't die. Nice.
Handgranate laden. Ziel beschädigt!
I can really call this guy out, man.
Getroffen! Ziel zerstört!
Now, who is this Panther G shooting at?
Marsch, Marsch! Panzer, 12 Uhr. Entfernung, 950 Meter.
Damn it, he turned.
Marsch, Marsch!
Oh dear. Come on, reload. Okay, good.
Ziel zerstört!
It doesn't matter. It was the second one.
Marsch, Marsch! Ziel zerstört!
There's a freaking T-92. You're gonna have to deal with the light tank yourself, buddy. What in the... You got that out? Right, turning around.
We will push until there is nothing left to push. Damn it! I joined this team just to kill maggots.
Any more? Ah, damn it.
Attention to the map.
Here's a fucking welcome mood. Oh, I'm dead. Yeah, I got you, homie. Oh my god, my friend just dropped there. I looked away to check my right for a second, and then he pushed out. Are you kidding me, game? I'm making this shot this one here. Is that a thing? Oh, that's a thing. Oh, playing low graphics This is a nightmare.
Panzergranate geladen.
Ziel zerstört!
Panzergranate geladen.
Why am I playing so aggressively in the Jagdpanther? I'm not supposed to do this.
Panzergranate geladen.
I'm dead. Yep, this is what I get.